and welcome back to FM Tahiti. I'm Pelham, and in this episode we're going to try and take on the reigning champions, Moorea Island, or the Yellow Lizards. If we look at the table quickly, after 5 games we're top, maximum points, 13 goals scored, only 1 conceded. We won our last match against Moorea Island 1-0. And we hammered them 1-0. We should have got more. I made a couple of changes because I noticed a couple of players were on yellow cards, so they were 1 yellow card away from suspension, and I didn't want to get them suspended before the Moorea match. I wanted the full range. So it was Richards and it was Naran. And Richards' replacement, Douglas, got injured 20 minutes in, so Richards had to go on anyway, and Douglas is now out for like 5 weeks. In other news before we play the match, Henderson is officially back to training, so the strike from last season. He's been out for 10 months, apparently, according to my new physio. So I got a report. I've never had any physio reports in this particular database just because I've never had a physio. It's been a season and a bit. Apparently he's back and he's training. I don't think he's going to squeeze into the squad particularly well, so he's lacking fitness. This is what's happened to him. He got 11 in 17 for his last season before he got injured halfway in, so he's got potential. His attributes don't look great considering his finishing and heading's gone down, as well as his his stamina, his jumping reach, his balance, all the stuff that's actually quite key. His bravery's 1 anyway. Apparently that's improved, but it is what it is. We also had some scout reports. Well, not scout reports. You know when you get the scouting list and it's got a few players the scouts think you might want to look further at. 3 Australian players turned up on there. And I was briefly tempted to sort of try and bring them in on trial, and then I thought, no. Australia's not part of Oceania anymore. It is as a continent, it is included on there geographically, but they've moved off to the Asian qualifying. They compete there. They've abandoned us because I might get flack for this, think they're too good. It's not that, it's because they wanted different competition and different tests for themselves, I guess. But if they're not part of Oceania, I don't want them in the team just yet. I'm going to stay homegrown between our island nations for as long as possible. Eventually other clubs are going to bring in players from abroad. Some of them may already have, but we're not for the moment. Actually, do any of the teams have that? Where would it be? Would it be part of records? Plus team detailed? They used to be able to find out. It's not as it's in team report or something like that. It's in facts. So domestic player bias 100%, Premiership 100%. So yeah, there's nobody from outside of our nations, and there's 6 in total, so that's why that's there. So yeah, nobody else from outside the islands just yet. Let's put this team together. I'm going to make a few changes. So first of all, Naran's going to come on for Spearling. So I was trying to save Naran for this match, which worked. Richie is going to come on for Douglas, because Douglas is crocked. It's actually fine. We get rid of these 2 buns there. Which means I'm on there. McIntyre is injured, so McCloy's going to go on, who's coming back from injury. It's not ideal, but we'll have to work with that for the moment. If need be, Lamb can cover the right hand side as well. Manuel's going to start. We've started around starting. Got Jared and Wallace up front. Wallace is getting tired now. Literally just worked out why that is. He's still playing for the under 23s. There we go. It's a bit too late for this match. Completely missed that. But I'm going to bench him. Get Chisholm. Chisholm scored the 1 goal in the last match, and Wallace is just being run ragged. He's doing well, but I don't want to break him. I don't want him to do like a Michael Owen and destroy his ability to run really young or anything like that. So let's go. Moorea are off the pace in comparison to us. They lost 4-1 in their last match against Bora Bora, but they've still got a game in hand over us. And they're still reigning champions. They've got a good quality team. Should really have looked at some of their players, but actually I've not scouted them particularly well, so I can't see a great deal. They do have some good players. And if we can beat them and just keep this momentum going, we're in a very good place. Skybrights and Bora Bora have been doing well recently in the league. So they're starting to gain pace. The Eels aren't doing particularly well. They finished second last season. Moorea are kind of up and around there with their game in hand. So it's a bit difficult to tell. Ooh, ball went in. Blocked. Double block. Any means necessary. Yes, it's too early really to predict who's going to be in and around the top. But I'm going to try anyway. It looks like us Skybrights, saying Bora Bora were doing alright. They're down in 7th, but actually they've put in some good results. Just not as consistent as the rest. But I think, yeah, us Skybrights, maybe Bora Bora, Moorea, and everything else is kind of up in the air. Probably completely wrong with my predictions. Go on, Richards. Get back to Richards. On the wing, Manuel. Get it to Gerard, he's due a goal. Gerard's starting to calm down his goal scoring kind of flurry now. Saving himself. Good ball in. Turned provider there. So, Moorea, one of the large islands just off the coast of the Tahiti kind of mainland. You can actually see some of the bays of Moorea from Tahiti. More fun facts like this if you watch the Tahiti Societies island video. Moorea means, I think, yellow lizards, so they're the yellow lizards. They're one of the teams as well who are moving into the expanded stadium. So this is a stadium they're sharing with a couple of other teams, which has got a large capacity of a couple of thousand, I think. Obviously they're not filling it. No one's going to be filling that kind of size. Gerard, go on, get away. What normally scores them? Not this time. He's just warming up. I think now it works out why Wallace is injured. Well, not injured, but always tired. Maybe a fresh Wallace partnering Gerard will mean they'll both start scoring him. I don't want to say scoring again because they both still got a really good record, but go back to having like a brace each. Oh, Chisholm almost. Gerard. Can't get away. Cannot get it away. The Pite doing alright in the table as well, but at the start of the season when I checked, they had one of the lowest wage spends. I think they were like 88,000. And everyone, like the top 4 or 5 were like 140 plus or something like that. So I don't know if they're spending to compete. Chadwick passing it. Jonna Chadwick passed into danger and now they've got a penalty. This is not good. It's fairly even shot-wise. Jono Chadwick, not John Joe. Jono Chadwick, and he just scored against us. Traitor against the Austral Islands. So I think he was from Union Rematara. Now he's gone to one of the Tahiti Societies teams. I mean, obviously, because he's from Union Rematara, he should actually probably hate us, so he's probably fine with this. It's not really a traitor against us. What's going on? Taha still not doing well. Skybrights doing alright. Something else? Gonna have to leave them as they are for the moment, I think. No one's doing so badly they need to come off straight away. Even McCloy is meant to be... Ooh. Class. Even McCloy is meant to be coming back from injury, still doing okay. Could bring on Lamb. Actually, I might bring on Lamb for Jansen. Might do that now. Just as there's a corner to defend. Yeah, because Jansen's not doing well. He was dropping off there. Manuel's also not doing well. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Getting close. Not feeling massively confident. At the same time, I don't think they're good for another goal. So cue another goal from them. Now I said that, I don't think they're good enough for another goal. Okay, let's try and switch this up. Let's bring weight on for Manuel, because he's not doing particularly well. And throw the dice, last throw the dice with the subs. Let's bring Wallace on. Let's get Wag scoring. Chisholm, I think, hit the bar or come close. That's about it. Jared had that one-on-one. Jels. Obviously we're screwed now if anyone gets injured or sent off. Should shout at them. Demand more. Did they instantly all become nervous because of that? Or were they already nervous? I can't remember. Oh, there we are. Focus. That is the best. I've never had that happen with a shout. I've never had them actually respond positively. And now they're about to be nervous. That didn't last long. Get it out. Let's get a counter-attack going on. 3 minutes. I think this might be our first loss of the season. It's the reigning champions. That's fine. Gerard. Offside anyway. Looked a little offside. You give him hell. All you did was throw your elbow. Figures. I think that's it done. So our first loss coming up against the reigning champions. Changes the table a little bit. We'll have a look. Jono Chadwick with a penalty. They did perform generally better than us, I'd say. I don't think he was a 1-0. I think maybe a draw would have been fine. They needed the penalty to break the deadlock. Far from pleased. Anderweg didn't like that. Everyone else is motivated. Anderweg doesn't. It just means Anderweg won't play the next match. So there we go. 6 games in after 28 in the league. And Sky Brights are on 16, we're on 15, we're on 12, but a game in hands. They could leapfrog us potentially, although the goal difference is in our favour. Only 2 unbeaten teams left, Sky Brights and Papite. So maybe the Sky Brights are going to be challengers this season. They're in a good position, even if Moorea win. This will got that point on them, but it's probably too early to call that. And Daniel is the Austral Islands manager, is looking mainly at our squad. Are you looking at Chadwick as well? Does it say Chadwick? Oh, Hamish Bennett. Did we just play against him? I didn't realise. No, so what happened was, I can't remember if I actually mentioned this in one of the other videos. I may have completely forgotten. So Hamish Bennett obviously used to play for us. Moorea came in with a bid. He complained bitterly that rejected it. But in a formal request, because Ahmed was doing well instead of him, I let him go, and he became the first player to move for a fee in the Premiership. So something like £275 or something like that. So he went for a fee. He's the record holder. And then they just dumped him in the under-23s. So good luck trying to watch him play any matches. Hopefully Ahmed's going to take his place in the national squad. So I'll end there. Disappointing, but not completely unexpected. Remember, we're just in our first season in the Premiership, so I can't be too harsh. And we will come back for the next match and see how we pick ourselves up. Okay, so we're back for the match against Bora Bora. This is the very next match. I was kind of umming and ahhing about whether to show this match or just go straight sort of play this one and skip it and then go straight into the Cup quarter-final. But I think it's seeing as it's the first season in the Premiership, just lost a match. Let's play this and see how it goes out. If it means we take a little bit longer to do the season, it just means we take a little bit longer to do the season. That's perfectly fine. So we will come back for the quarterfinals as well, see how that goes. A few bits and pieces. So Moorea won their game in hand 3-1. So beating us and then winning the next match. So they got their mojo back by squeaking that undeserved win against us. That puts the top three as Sky Brights, Yellow Lizards, and the Humpbacks. Still got a while to go until qualification for the OCL, so we'd have to worry until sort of the end of December, start January, so we've got a while. Before this match, the media was talking about a bit of a bust-up between me and the manager, Phil Lee, and I could honestly not remember what that was about until I checked his background. So he's an Australese manager, and he used to manage Union Rematara. So last season, he did alright. So he runner-up in the Inter-Island Cup, overperformed as manager of Union Rematara. Any awards? No, he didn't get any awards. But we must have basically got into it when we were rival managers in the championship between Rematara and Rurutu, so the two closest islands. So apparently that's all blown over as far as he's concerned, but it gives me an extra incentive to beat Bora Bora, who he now manages. Also, I love this bit. It's something I didn't notice much in FM18, but I'm pretty sure it was in there, I just didn't notice it. But the fact that you've got managers who've got tendencies, so he tends to target high-profile signings. What that means in this context, I don't know. I don't know what counts as high-profile when the biggest transfer fee currently stands as £275. But you know what? But I like seeing that. It's quite interesting. Hopefully, in the long run, we'll see this actually have an impact on the way teams play. So our team, lots of issues with fitness, because I'm foolishly letting them, this happened last time, I'm foolishly letting them carry on play full 90 minutes for the youth team. Dial that back for some of them, just so they're not completely useless for the first team. Underweg didn't react well to my talk last match, so Salaberry's going to start instead of him. And I'm also going to put Waite in instead of Manuel, just to rest and rotate, essentially. Richards I would also take off because of the yellow card if I could, but there's no out-and-out replacement for him until Douglas is back from injury. And I'm going to give Chisholm another start, and then hopefully Wallace will be back and ready. He's still on the bench, he's just not as sharp as I want him to be. Apparently we're the underdogs. Yeah. Aaron gained confidence. 1 out of 11 will do at this stage. So Bora Bora have come over to the reef to play us. One giant stand. So some facts about Bora Bora. I'll go into it in a lot more detail in the Tahiti Societies video. But basically Bora Bora is like the poster child of Tahiti. It's the one where it's got the kind of biggest, most major resort or set of resorts around kind of island. It's whenever you see those pictures of those kind of over the sea huts, it's usually Bora Bora that's being used. Oh, Richard's almost there. One-handed save from the keeper to get rid of that. And because they're sort of based on this sort of beautiful, I was going to say beautiful island, they're all based on pretty beautiful islands to be fair, but because it's kind of got this big internal lagoon and then the external bit with the reefs, they're nicknaming this as the Aquas because there's lots of one-on-one, and he tucks that away nicely. Johan Tihoni. Yeah. Ahmed showing his age, I think, a little bit, coming out a little bit too early there. But reasonable long ball and then just poor defending. Who was that? McCloy, right back. The youth right back as well, or more youth than McIntyre is. Hopefully they'll recover from that. So yeah, Bora Bora in their purple away kits. their home kit's this kind of blue that we've got, plus red stripes. So there is a bit of a clash there. Not often we get clashes between kits, but there was one there. So we're losing another one. Are we just a fragile team because we're quite young, maybe? We'll have to see. I know exactly who I want to bring on though at this stage. Jansen's anxious and didn't do that well last match, that might bring him off. Ooh. Is he challenging for free kicks? Not much else. McCloy made that error as well, so maybe McIntyre needs to come on. Anxious, composed, he keeps flicking between the two. Jansen's now frustrated. He's even more frustrated when he just gets benched. I think I need Manuel on instead of Waite as well. We're getting no kind of attacking highlights. It's really boring, this match. Really quick, but really boring. Breezy 29 degrees at Rura 2. Right. Phil Lamb's coming on for Jansen. Manuel's coming on for Waite. Double roll of the dice. Doesn't leave as much flexibility. Ooh, almost clicked the wrong one there. Show me something else. Oh. Richards is stressed and Chant has lost confidence. Ideal. There's some good responses, some fired up players. Ahmed Smith, our keeper's wearing Rura 2 coloured gloves. Nice touch. A little confused why he's wearing gloves in 29-degree heat, but maybe that's chilly for him. We were playing in like 35-degree heat at some points in the year before, so a 6-degree drop, you might have noticed that. Again, not much going on. We move up to third position by default because one of the other results is going our way. Chisholm turns. Manuel gets into Narren. He's going to shoot, isn't he? Just get it to a striker. Get it in and closer. I do have both my central midfielders have shoot less often on. I think I also got that on for my wingers. Basically, I don't want them to be shooting. I want them to either be kicking it long or a through ball. I want them to be getting it wide so they can cross it in. I don't want to be doing that, but I can't really bring Naran off. I think Wallace is going to be my next roll of the dice. Come on, Richards, do something. Cleared there by them. And again, 2 losses in a row wouldn't be huge, because we've got ourselves a nice solid 15 points so far. We've had a good start. But we really do need to try and keep in touching distance of first and second if we want to get into the OCL soon. And again, wouldn't be the end of the world if we didn't do it in our first season in the Premiership. If it takes a bit longer, it takes a bit longer, but the sooner we get in there, the sooner we've got a chance of getting some of that continental... Oh, he did go in with 2 feet, yeah, but I think that was a little harsh. Don't really see what else I can do here. Right, turn these into no-nonsense ones. It seems like a defensive move. Yes, it is a defensive move, but it's just to stop space being left behind them. So Manuel can still attack, Richards can still get forwards, and we just won't be overly exposed. So hopefully it maintains a bit of a balance. Says as they almost score from the free kick. Yeah, the sooner we get into the OCL, the sooner we get the opportunity to get some of that continental championship money that we can reinvest, up our rep a bit and things like that, but it's not part of the plan. Start of the season, the plan was just to survive, meet minimum expectations, and then build for next. It's just that good start's got us thinking about a bit more. It was a good start until Moorea kicked our feet from under us in that last match. Firebright's getting back to the draw. Maybe the Skybright's going to be the title winners. We don't seem to have it in us. We've not got the steel. It's been relatively even. Don't think we deserve to be losing. Likewise, not a stellar performance. Something's on now. I think this is our last chance. He actually tackled him. I'm sure that was some kind of mistake where he had to slide in. Oh, Theoni. Yeah. Oh, it was offside. Fine. Makes no real difference at this point. Yeah. Just punts it forward so the whistle's blown. So another loss. 2 losses in a row. I think we shall end there for the moment and we'll come back for the cup match. Hopefully we can get some momentum there against the championship side, the Uahuka. Say unlucky, so they're pleased. Okay, thanks very much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.